if I traded it all.
Welcome back. My next guest has been on my show before. I have with me Chad Gamage, and he is the president of Arizona Retirement Company. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, I should say. I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Today we're going to talk about something a little different than we've before, probably a little bit of both. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. Thanks, Carol. Good to be back, and happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there. I'm the president and founder of Arizona Retirement Company. It's a retirement consulting and planning firm located in Gilbert. And I've created the modern retirement design, and I'm also credited with creating the executive bonus contract for those of you that are business owners out there and need some help with your own retirement planning.
Now, you're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. You can help anyone from anywhere, but you are, where are you located, in Gilbert?
I'm in Gilbert, and I can help anybody in Arizona.
Right. And so you want to check him out on his website, which is azretirementco.com. Write the number down. It's 480-524-0508. Today, you said you wanted to talk about one of the most questions that you get asked. You've had some callers that call from the show, and you say that you always get this one question asked, so you might as well answer it right on air.
Yeah, sure. Your clients, your listeners, they ask good questions to begin with, but the most popular question I get, and sometimes it's the first question I get, is because we talk about it on the show, and that's the comprehensive retirement analysis. And they've never heard of one before, so they really can't relate to that. They don't get that from their HR department at their work. They don't get that from their bank. They don't get that from a 1-800 number that they call because they saw a commercial during the NCAA tournament and got interested in what they had to say. And I tell them that the comprehensive analysis for the retirement is really their reality check. It's what's going to actually tell them where they are in their retirement plan, where they're headed, and if they're on track to reach their goals. And of course, a lot of times I hear back, well, I don't really have a retirement plan. I have a 401k and an IRA and Social Security. And I say, yeah, well, you probably have goals in mind, and you have bills, and you have certain things that actually are used in this retirement analysis to pinpoint exactly where you are today. It's a real eye-opener for everybody.
It is. I mean, you showed me one that just off the paperwork, and it's extensive, and I couldn't believe some of the questions that were on there. And they're great questions that you're asking for them to say, do I have this or not? Because if I don't, you probably need it, right?
Yeah, that's right. These are things that they sometimes already know the answers to.
Mm-hmm.
A few things, they may have to make a phone call to their IRA sponsor, whoever's managing their money, and we'll get some paperwork so that we can pinpoint what their net returns are and things like that.
I also want to get out something about you. You're a certified by, and I never remember what it says, but what is that?
The NSSA, which is National Social Security Advisors, and that actually plays a big role in this part of the analysis. Involves your income planning, of course. And for a lot of people, Social Security is their only guaranteed income. They don't have a pension. We don't see those like we used to. And when I do see them, they're typically smaller. So the Social Security becomes a key part of their income portion of this analysis, and we want to make sure that we can optimize that. So we perform an analysis just on that Social Security.
Now, you do free consultations as well, and we've been doing this free Social Security analysis. Is it okay we can do that again?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, because I was trying to point it at you, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to say it. I figured it was okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up the lines for people to get this. I believe that everyone should have someone, especially like you, who's certified in this, who can tell you exactly where you're going to stand when it comes time. When should you take it? Or maybe you shouldn't take it right now or whatever. So call us here at the station at 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Check them out on the website. It's azretirementco.com. You can also call them direct. It's 480-524-0508. And I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for this. Again, I believe that everyone should have it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this very extensive analysis. Go ahead.
So it's doing math that we've never done before for ourselves, and even though we know we have a pension, maybe it's a small pension, we've never really calculate what that's going to amount to throughout our retirement, or if it's going to be passed on to our spouse and what percentage that's going to be. This is all put into that equation so we can calculate these what ifs type scenarios. But between the different things that we put in, like your retirement accounts, a little bit different approach to how we look at that. We don't care. At least I don't care what your guy tells you you're getting for your returns. I'm going to take all the fees out. I'm going to go back since the inception of that 401k, and we're going to look at the net return on that 401k. And if you think it's 7 or 8%, you might be shocked to find out that your net return is considerably lower than that. And that's what we're going to use to calculate for your future. That's how we start to look at these things down the road. We look at what's actually going in your pocket, not what somebody else is getting paid or what they're telling you. So we want to really get it down to the nuts and the bolts when it comes to your age and when you want to retire, when you want to take a Social Security income. Can we delay that income? What are your goals? For example, well, you want to retire and you want to take European vacations every year for 3 weeks. Well, where are you going to get the money from? You're just going to pull it off the pile of money that you saved? Well, you should really look at that a little bit more intelligently, because you're also paying your bills out of that pile. You're going to buy new cars out of that pile. You may have emergencies that are coming out of that pile. So we need to look at these things a little bit more intelligently so we can actually plan it to where your income is going to pay your bills, and we can set aside money for your goals. And same with your emergency funds.
And I'm assuming that, there's so many people that put these things off. That retirement planning is for older people. It's really not.
Well, it's really not, and that's kind of the herd mentality anyway. Most people look at this and I'm just doing what everybody else is doing, so it must be okay. Well, we know that cliff is out there, and you can talk to the people in 2007, 2008 that were retired, and they didn't do something that they wish they had then because they got wiped out or they lost a considerable amount of money. A lot of those people went back to work, and it was all avoidable. And it's easier today to do that, especially when you have an analysis like the one I performed for you, because you can see it for yourself. It's not what I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to do the math. I'm going to ask you the questions. We're going to look at the date that you pay off your home. Where's that extra money going to go to? We're going to look at your credit cards. We're going to look at your cars, the things that your budget itself is the cornerstone to this process. But we're going to look at everything else. We're going to look at the path that you're on so you can see for yourself if you're going to reach those goals or not. And then you can look at it and say, well, that's not right for me. I need to make some changes.
And he's got the lines open here for everybody to call in so that you can get his free Social Security analysis. He's certified in this to do it. And our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for it, too. I believe that everybody should have this. Everybody should sit down and talk to you and find out where they stand. It's not about having money. It's about finding out how much money you're going to have when the time comes when you need it. So he's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. His website is azretirementco.com, and his phone number direct, he does free consultations. It's 480-524-0508. Okay, real quickly, what can we get to kind of short before we go to a break?
Sure. We could talk about taxes and inflation. That's a huge subject, and that's a big part of this analysis because they play a big role in what goes in your pocket at the end of the day. So some of it's speculation, but we're low as far as taxes go. If you look historically, we're probably only going to go up with taxes, but certainly inflation is only going to go up because we've been pretty much flat for the last several years, so you can expect that to increase.
So there's so many things, different things to look at. And as I was looking at this myself, I couldn't believe some of the questions that you dive into. And again, you're going way deep on all of this with them. How can you find out, just real quickly, when you say that you're going to go back to the inception, some people have been working for their companies for years. How can you go back that far?
Well, it's simple. You just make a phone call and you ask them to give me a performance review, a performance summary of my account since inception, and you want to minus all the fees. You can see it for yourself what you've been getting all these years. So again, I ask people in part of this process is, what do you think your retirement accounts are doing for you? What's going to end up in your pocket? And the reason why I said 7 or 8% is because most people think they're being conservative when they say, "Oh, I'm getting 7 or 8%." They want to think that. They want to feel good about it. But the reality is that's not the case. We just don't see it.
We've got our lines open here, and everyone's getting entered in to win a free Social Security analysis. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. You can check him out on his website. It's azretirementco.com. Call him. He does free consultation, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. It's 480-524-0508. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute.
Traded it all.
Welcome back. We're talking with Chad Gamage. He's the president of Arizona Retirement Company. You're certified to do this, what we're talking about here, but certainly this is the most wonderful conversation for somebody to be really listening up and listening into this, because you want people to kind of figure out now what to do so that they can maybe make some decisions that might be able to help them out. That's what we were talking about at the break. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is going to educate you about your situation like nothing else. There's no other opportunity that I've seen out there that's actually going to give you this kind of information.
And you don't charge people for this,
I don't charge them for it. No, the chances are they're going to become a client. When they see how they're empowered by what they learn, they're going to understand the decisions that they make, the effects of decisions that they're going to make. If they're considering moving their funds from one account to another, if they went to dinner because someone sent them an invitation in the mail and they're going to try to sell them an annuity or some life insurance product, which may be the right product for them, I don't know, but let's plug it into the analysis and we can find out if that's what's going to get you on track. That's what's really important here, is for you to see for yourself the effects of the decisions you made in the past and the effects of the decisions that you're making for the future. And again, we're going to look at your budget. We're going to look at other things that try to better your situation. So this isn't by any means a sales approach. This isn't something to try to figure out how much you have in assets or anything like that. It's about fixing your retirement plan because you probably don't have one. So I look at it and say, open your eyes and absorb it and live it, and you're going to feel a whole lot better about whatever you do. You will be empowered by this.
Now, we're also offering everybody here a free Social Security analysis. You're getting entered in to win that. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. He does free consultations. You got to meet people, got to find out a little bit about him. Obviously, this is a great way to find out about him. And he's located in Gilbert, but can you help anyone from anywhere? You can call him and leave a message there at 480-524-0508. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. You could check him out. It's azretirementco.com. And I'm going to let you keep on calling throughout the rest of the show to get this. I believe everyone should have it. Find out where you stand. And by the way, do you do second opinions too?
Yeah,
I've got to ask that because some people out there have them and they think, oh, I'm fine. But not necessarily.
Yeah, I get second opinions. They're always a referral. It's someone who I've already been working with or already a client. They'll share this experience with somebody else. And they're not just a client at that point. They're an advocate for what I do. And the phone will ring and say, hey, I want to do what so-and-so did, and I want to learn for myself too.
So our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. What else should we talk about?
Well, when we're done gathering all the information, that's the discovery phase of this, and we start to put things in place for the analysis. And there's some other questions that I'm going to talk to you about just to make sure I understand, take the sharp edge off the corner, so to speak. And then we're going to produce the results, and that's literally when people slide up to the edge of their seat. They're looking at, I got a 55-inch monitor in my office, and they slide up to the edge of their seat. They're 2 feet away from it now, and they just can't believe what they're seeing because they've never seen this information, and it's their information. It's nobody else's. And sometimes it's not exactly what they expected. It's not always positive news in some cases, but there's always something that we can do to help ourselves. And the next step in this analysis is doing just that. I want to find out what you're willing to do for yourself to help your situation out. And then we're going to put that into the analysis. We're going to create a new scenario. For example, maybe working for 1 more year, or maybe working part-time for 2 years. Those things will dramatically change the outcome of someone's Social Security if they're close to being short of what their goals might be. Delaying Social Security, well, that's 8% a year. Let's take a close look at that too. Sell the old boat. If it's sitting in the backyard, you take it to Saguaro Lake twice a year, sell it, let's put it into a Roth IRA or something like that. There's a better place for that boat money. And go rent a boat from Saguaro Lake for $100 or $200 a day for when you want to do it. And there's a whole list of things that we can do for ourselves. And I want to show them the effects of helping ourselves before we make any drastic decisions like buying products and switching to someone's fund of the month.
And you should always ask somebody who knows, and you know.
Well, the math knows. I let the math do the talking, and that's what empowers my clients. They become smart real fast, because they can see for themselves exactly what's going on with their retirement plan. They've never had that anywhere else.
So call us here at 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100, azretirementco.com. I have a question now, barring this now, because they're almost done here. So you've also created the two programs that you're the only one that has it. How does this then go now follow into getting them into either one of your programs?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
sure. So for most people, it's going to be the next step would be the recommendations I make for what I can do. You're going to see where you're at, where you're headed, and if you're on track, you're going to see what you can do for yourself. And maybe you're happy. Maybe you just want to go home from there. But if you want to see what I do, the next thing I do is I implement the Modern Retirement Design. And that's the program that I created. That's the one that's going to guarantee the lifestyle, the retirement lifestyle that you always wanted. We're going to maximize that retirement lifestyle. We're going to make sure your income is always there and only increasing during your retirement, never decreasing. We're going to make sure that you can afford your goals, those trips to Europe, that custom log cabin, whatever it might be, to whatever extreme or minimum that you have for your goals. Maybe it's just a new guitar, whatever it is. We're going to make sure you can afford your goals, and it's not going to affect your income, and your income's not going to affect your goals. And then the third part of the Modern Retirement Design, that third coffer we fill is for the emergencies. So if you have home repairs, auto repairs, unexpected medical expenses, or you got to fly back to Minnesota or Michigan to see a family member who's not well, how do you pay for those little things without affecting your income and the goals, the things that you've worked so hard for?
Well, you really take them from the beginning and then through into something that you created. You're the only one that has it because you created it. And again, he does do second opinions as well. We've got our lines open here for everyone to get his free Social Security analysis. Everyone's getting entered in to win one of those. I believe everyone should have that too. I believe everyone, I don't care who you are, should start going through this immediately to find out. I mean, obviously, we don't think about it when we're younger, but when we're about 50 years old, you start thinking about it for sure, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I think everyone should do it. He's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. He does free consultations. He can help anyone in Arizona. And again, your website is azretirementco.com, or call him at 480-524-0508. What else should we talk about here?
Well, if you're working still and your parents just moved back home with you because maybe they're struggling to make ends meet because they didn't have that pension, they didn't have enough in Social Security, let's have this conversation before this trend continues in your family or anybody else that you might know. This is serious retirement planning, but we're going to spend 20 or 30 years in this retirement plan, so let's get it right. Let's not wait and make more mistakes.
Right, and there's so many people out there that they think they have it covered because maybe their work has that 401k for them. But like you said, most people they're surprised as to what they're really going to get out of it.
Well, they're surprised what they're getting out of it now, and that pile could be cut in half when they're 70 years old. What are you going to do now? That was what you were pulling off to pay your bills because Social Security wasn't enough. There goes whatever you had on your bucket list, because now you've got to hold back for 2 years until the market starts to correct itself. And if it's like 2008, it's going to take 5 years before you should touch that pile of money, because you don't want to touch it until it gets back to where it was at.
Well, the market doesn't always mean that you're going to have money. You have to plan for that, right?
Yeah, losses hurt way more than gains
not everybody
help.
has their money in the market. They may not still have to do this.
Well, yeah, of course. There's ways to make sure you have guaranteed income, and that's the most important thing.
Exactly.
We can create a personal pension from your 401k. We can create a personal pension from your IRAs.
And what happens if somebody's listening out there that may not have that, but like maybe their parents did pass away and they might be getting a little bit of money or whatever? I mean, you don't necessarily have to have a 401k or a pension to do this. I just want to mention that.
Sure, you could inherit properties and all kinds of different things, and we need to use those for your retirement. So everybody's case is a little bit different. You just named one, and when someone inherits some money, they get a lump sum of money. What do you do with it? Well, don't spend it until you have a plan for it for the long run. If you don't have other retirement savings for sure.
There's a lot of different reasons. So we're going to let everyone keep on calling throughout the rest of the show for this. He's going to give everyone a free Social Security analysis. You're getting entered in to win one of those. He's certified to do this. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. He's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. You could check him out. He can help anyone in Arizona. It's azretirementco.com. You can also call him at 480-524-0508 or call in here at 602-277-5369. Final words.
Well, thanks again, Carol. It's always a blast to be here with you and to meet your listeners, and happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there. I hope you're listening. And give me a call. Let me see if I can help you out. I'm sure I can. At least open your eyes.
Exactly. Give us a call here at 602-277-5369. You're going to get entered in a free Social Security analysis. He's certified to do that. Also, check him out on his website. It's azretirementco.com or call him. He does free consultations. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. He can help anyone in Arizona. It's 480-524-0508. It's azretirementco.com.
Angela.